Have you ever wondered why cats don't care? I mean, I never understood why people were so obsessed about cats. I mean, if I want to get ignored, I'll probably get a cat. But I've never imagined that I would be a cat lady. Like, never. So the moral of the story is never say never. And it wasn't like I intentionally wanted to get a cat. It was when I started learning about crystals and learning about clearing energy that the cats started coming into my life. Today's episode, I'm going to share with you 3 things you should know about your cat that's going to shed on a whole different light on how we view cats. And hopefully it will make sense for you who are learning about energy and spirits and what's here on the energetic world. So this video is dedicated to all the cat ladies out there because I'm about to join the crowd. Let's get started. Timmy do, let's. When I went to Vietnam, I realized that, man, there's a lot of myths and legends about cats here. Like, people don't like cats. It goes back to like all these myths and how cats are bad luck. And I mean, I try to dig more into it, but they don't have an exact answer. And so there was like a gap there. They just assumed cats were bad luck. So it didn't really bother me because I never thought about even getting a cat. And then it wasn't until I went to Vietnam and my cousin, out of nowhere, she has 2 little kittens. And one of the yellow ones, a little baby one, when I first saw the little baby one, I was like, oh my God, it's so adorable. Like, I've never been so attracted to a little kitty in my entire life. And so I asked to be its godmother. And so I was hanging around the cats for a few months while I was in Vietnam, while I traveled around this city, right, this country. And then, so I left back to the US, forgot about it. I mean, sometimes I would check on my cousin about the kitten, and I've been named it MOLDAVITE, which is like my favorite crystal. A lot of you already know, right? It's such a powerful stone. So that was kind of the end of like cats, right? It's good. I'll adopt it from like the US. I mean, I'll be the godmother, basically, from a distance. And so it wasn't until 2 of the friends there, I sent a MOLDAVITE back. And within the same time frame, I noticed both of them posted up photos of them finding stray kittens, right? 2 different cities in Da Nang. They know each other, but how could it be possible that both of them, around the same time receiving the MOLDAVITE, a stray kitten came into their life? And I'm like, that is so interesting, because when I went to Vietnam last year was after I got into my accident with this inventory of MOLDAVITE, like a bag of rocks, and it wasn't even like 2-3 weeks in. Actually, it was like a week in. I went to visit my grandma. My cousin was there. But that was when the little kitten came into my life. And I'm like, could there be a connection here? Well, I managed to figure it out. So number 1 is cat is the guardian of the spiritual realm. So why is that even possible? First is to take a look back at why Egyptians, the most advanced civilization, are so big on cats. And then you also have witches and magic, and people are relating it to cats. So what is the commonality between this? Egyptians, they're big on crystals as well. And so if you watched my last episode on 3 warnings about MOLDAVITE, as we start working with crystals, we start clearing the energy blockages within our body, right? So as we start clearing the energies, our body will take in more light. And when these energies are released, we're going to be more sensitive to different energies around us. And this is when we start like sensing entities and spirits and different energies around us. And so that is when a cat is very beneficial to have in your life during these times. And for me, like I've never even considered about getting a cat. However, it wasn't until I started working with MOLDAVITE when I started releasing a lot of trapped energies that this kitten came into my life. So as you start clearing old energies, you start becoming more sensitive to different energies around you. Like spirits and entities, they're gonna want to mess with you if they sense that you're aware that they're around, or they're gonna want to communicate, right? Or there are other spirits and entities that don't have good intentions. So there are good and bad to in the spiritual realm. So of course, when our body is more open to energy, a cat is going to be a protector, because a cat could see on both realms, our reality and our spiritual realm. Which brings us to number 2. Number 2 is that cats can navigate through both dimensions. It can navigate through the spiritual world and also our physical world. So how does that even make sense, right? What is it about cats? Well, first, you would have to look at the Hawkins scale. And this didn't really dawn on me until earlier, like 2 weeks ago. I was just sitting there staring at our family dog, and I was like, why is he so happy? Like always happy and playful. And then I realized, like, wow, dogs are known to be the protector of the physical world, because the dog's main job is always to be happy and like keep us at this high vibration of happiness and love, right? Unconditional love. However, like dogs are always so happy, so it always keeps you at this high vibration. So whatever lower energies, like entities around, like if you're always there at the high vibration, you may not even notice they're around. However, let's take a look at the cats. Why do cats act like they don't care most of the time? So let's look at the Hawkins scale. Neutrality. Cats, when they're right in the middle of the neutrality state, they can navigate through the lower vibrations of fear, hate, guilt, right? These are low vibrations where entities and spirits can actually, mess with you or like distract you and try to put you in that lower vibration. And so if you're vibrating at the low vibration, you're going to be more prone to be a very dense and fearful, contracting energy. And so cats, like sometimes you see them very, very happy, but then also sometimes they have to keep at this neutral state just to keep balance between the physical world and the spiritual world. And so that's why people are saying like, hey, cats, they're guardians of the spiritual realm. And so I noticed that ever since I started clearing energy, cats started showing up in my life. And so think about it. Think about if you do have a cat. Notice what your cat is doing when it's around the house. Which brings us to number 3. Number 3 is that the cat's aura is actually very massive, and it could help transmute negative energy. So pay attention. Notice what your cat is doing around the house, or if it stares at a certain area. Like, pretty creepy, but I don't know. I don't have a cat. I'm about to get one pretty soon. So notice what your cat is doing around the house. Typically, people would bring cats into a home that's new, or if you're moving and you move to a home that has been, bad spirits, bad entities there, cats would go around, check out the place, and then their aura is so big that it can help transmute the negative energy. And also, like when you're you're sleeping, right, you're more open to, psychic attacks when your body's laying down during sleep. if a cat jumps on your chest or like try to be around you, it's protecting you from something. So something to consider, because right, we can say, oh, spirits, entities don't exist, like you don't believe in it. Fine. If you don't believe in it, it doesn't mean they don't exist. So everything is energy. It's either vibrating at very high or vibrating at very low. So the denser you go, like the more you're gonna be stuck in this lower dimensional realm, which is kind of heavy, right? With all the stuff that's going around right now with the fear and the coronavirus, the energy is very, very heavy. And so for me, like during the day, I would get so exhausted and I would sleep a lot of times during the day. And at night is when I actually like started downloading all these new informations, ideas, because a lot of people are asleep. And so the energy is more neutral. And so something to keep in mind about cats, right? Their aura is so huge that they help transmute the negative energies around you and around the house. So pay attention to what your cat does when it's like doing its own thing and not caring about anybody. It's actually navigating through the house and making sure there are no lurking entities or spirit. Hope that makes sense. So that was a brief overview of like why cats are guardians of the spiritual realm, right? So they are guardians. As you start going more into this spiritual awakening, clearing old energies, trapped energies, spirits will pay attention to you if they sense that you can communicate with them or they're going to want to communicate. Or they may just have not good intentions. And then 2 is that cats can navigate through the spiritual realm and the physical realm by being in this neutral state and not caring and doing their own thing. However, they're a lot more powerful than you may think. And then number 3 is cats help transmute negative energy, which is something I've never paid attention to until I start working with crystals and being exposed to this whole energetic world. So one thing to, like, it never crossed my mind to even get a cat until I start piecing together all these synchronicities, right? Like, why did this cat end up getting into my life when I first entered Vietnam with my bag of MOLDAVITEs? And then when I sent my a few MOLDAVITEs to Vietnam, 2 of my friends ended up adopting a stray cat, like out of nowhere, around the exact same time the MOLDAVITEs came. So I thought that was interesting, and that kind of triggered something. And I was like, well, maybe that's it. Because I saw them post it on their Facebook, like, interesting. And so I reached out to both of them, like, hey, I also got a kitten when I first came to Vietnam with my MOLDAVITEs. So the thing with Vietnam is everything is like opposite in a way. Like, even our names, like right here I put Tammy Doe, and then in Vietnam you like reverse. So that's how they write their name. Even with like birthdays. My birthday is September 3rd, 9/3, right? We write 9/3 here, but in Vietnam they write it as 39. And so when I was writing a form I went to a dermatologist in Vietnam and my cousin took me, and I wrote down my birthday as 9/3. And then my cousin saw the form and she's like, oh my God, her birthday's coming up. So literally, my cousins got all together and they threw me a surprise birthday on March 9th. And I was like, whose birthday is this? And they're like, happy birthday, it's your birthday. Like, no, it's not. It's September 3rd. And so that was something I realized, like, hi, that's interesting. Maybe it's like my rebirth or something. Because I thought it was fun. I was very grateful that they did that for me. This past 2 months with this whole coronavirus thing, I actually thought about getting a cat, but I don't know. I wasn't really sure. And so I actually met up with one of my investor, and we had lunch. And so I was sharing with her, like, oh, I think cats are like spirituality. And she was talking about how one of the stray cats at her office went missing for a few days, and she was like afraid something happened to it. And so she's like, yeah, but this other cat, they also had a litter of kittens, and there's 4 of them. And I was like, that's so interesting. I've been thinking about getting a cat. And so she showed me a picture, and it's like, oh, by the way, they were born on March 9th. And I'm like, hold on, that date sounds very familiar. Why does it sound so familiar? Boom. It was my reverse birthday in Vietnam. All right, so Vietnam is like literally 12 hours difference from the US, so like exactly halfway around the world. And what are the chances of this new kitten being born on March 9th, my reverse birthday? And so I knew that was a sign. It's like, all right, it's time for me to get a cat. So that's a little brief update. I'm about to get a kitten in 2 weeks, and it looks very similar to the orange kitty that came into my life in Vietnam when I first got there. So what do you think? Do you like cats? Has it changed your view on cats? Notice what your cat's doing. And if you want the next episode, I may actually go into like what the colors of each cat actually represents, right? 'Cause the colors of the cat also represents like how they interact and what kind of, energy they bring. So if you want to learn more about that, or you think it'll be a good episode, make sure you leave in the comments below, and then if you can help out, subscribe. But I think that's it. So I guess I'm a cat lady now. Hope you enjoyed the video. That is all I have for today. Timmy Do signing off.